here.
Hey. That's some water.
It is. I keep putting all my stuff so I take tickets. I have something to write on because you know how the tickets disappear.
So, at the township meeting, you know, we had moved last month to being then, but I don't know why it didn't, because, you know, Doug had given the minutes, and so I don't know why it didn't get properly, because you were then, what Bob was saying, oh no, it's then, but when Bob said that, it was like, so, but yeah, I was sorry, I didn't know that that's what was.
You ready? Alright, there's a flag right there. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which is one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are all here except for Jason.
Chimed in his.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a chance to look at the agenda. Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve as written.
I will second it. All in favor? Okay. Wait.
Did we vote? Did what you just did, second and
I did that all. in favor.
Okay, oh, okay.
We're good.
Just gonna.
Public hearing. There isn't anything.
Public comment, Joanne, do you have anything?
And the
No,
only
do-
public,
Have you guys decided when your next meeting will be?
not yet.
Okay. It's not anything to do with what's on the front bulletin board?
It
So
is.
we had planned it on the 24th, but some of us couldn't make it. So as soon as we figured that out, we have to have public meetings. So we moved it to today so we could all be here. But I talked to Richard about it 3 weeks ago, easily 3 weeks ago probably. And I sent an email to Bob and Ben. So everybody, like, they were all aware of it. So.
Yeah.
And I actually stopped and talked to Ben personally a couple weeks ago to remind them that it was for today, to make sure we got it posted and everything was switched over. So
Is it not posted correctly right now?
I didn't look at the actual posting on the board. They said it was taken care of, and I never actually looked at it.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Taken care of.
Can you reiterate what's on the agenda
What do you mean?
that you just approved? What items are on the agenda? I don't.
So all we did was we just motion to set the agenda as written.
Yeah, what is on the agenda for new business or old business?
New business was, all it says is new business, cancel the regular meeting on September 24th, 2024. And then old business is continue the master plan discussion and topics for next workshop.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. You have anything else you want to talk about, Joanne? Okay. Did everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from last month? accept the minutes from July. All those in favor?
Aye. I'm good.
Okay.
Don't worry about me.
So, unfinished business. There is no township board rep here. There is no ZBA rep here. And there is no zoning administrator here. So, no new business. Or no unfinished business. New business. We canceled the regular meeting on September 24th.
I thought we just moved it.
We moved it. We didn't
So,
cancel it.
yeah, we
It
didn't
was
cancel
just
it because we're
moved.
here tonight, so.
And like I said, everybody was made aware of
Yeah.
all of this.
I don't know why it's.
Yeah.
We moved it forward.
Yeah, we
Right,
did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back.
And then in October, we should be back on track
Right,
on the
with
fourth
fourth Tuesday,
Tuesday. Yeah.
which would be the 22nd. That is originally, yeah, down here, correct? That is what's posted, I believe. We should be good there. That's not. There is no new business. Old business. We got chapter 5.
I'm still not crazy about the man down in the corner because you can't really tell what it is, but
I know, I was trying to figure out, is this in town?
I believe
Is this?
so.
Okay,
Yeah, and
I believe
that's
so.
Dublin
okay,
right there.
alrighty,
Although I'm a little, well,
yeah,
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
yeah,
I
it
found
needs to
some- I
be
found some-
cleaner,
I found some errors in there too.
okay.
Is anyone else concerned that we went from like all these dense pages? Yeah, summary of soil types and stuff to like this
very much condensed.
like
There's just a lot of stuff that's not in there.
isn't there stuff that's important before that should be in stuff?
I didn't think soil type really mattered,
Well, what
not in detail like that.
Well, if you had wanted to buy farmland over here, you could look at that and be like, oh, it's easier to get, it's all right there. Like if you can see nitrogen levels and stuff and phosphorus levels in the soil.
And what I was thinking is that we needed to have a clear, if we're not putting that in, then we need to have the roadmap back to where it is. That C master plan, and it needs to be right under that category. You know, so that detail, a person's looking and they wanna know what the soil is, they need to see right in this language of, okay, go back to the master plan and on pages such and such.
Like right here, I'm assuming we paid a lot of money for all this data right here. And we're just gonna like, not plug it anymore? I don't know. I think they went a little too light on that one, in my opinion.
Well, and isn't water under that too? And one of the things that, of course, the state is paying a lot of attention to is water. And to me, that's
Well, here-
part of, and yeah,
Here they say right now, here's all the lakes in our area. In those unnamed ponds, it's kinda cool. But all these lakes, and then here they're just like,
Nothing.
Yeah.
this is what a lake is, for water collects.
Yeah.
You know? What is in the lake, it says,
Yeah.
where is it, wetlands?
It just says what wetlands are.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And where they're at for here.
This is, and it says various. Mainly unbundable. Maybe we don't need all this detail. This right here seems important, like why wouldn't you have those graphs in there somewhere?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like why, it's cool, this is all the territories that has, buildable property.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, I guess. This seems less important than this.
I do think this is a little light compared to what we had. I mean, I would like to see,
But weren't we trying to go with lighter than
well, if we look at
That-
what we have so far, it is massively condensed.
that?
But I think this stuff is important to have in here as a point of reference more than anything.
Like, is there gonna be an appendix to this that has more details?
This.
So this is gonna be an appendix to this?
That it's basically to see, if you want more detail on the soil, go to master plan such and such, and pages is how, it's like, this is the, sort of the cliff notes.
Oh, so we're not replacing this.
Right,
We're just, oh, well then I feel better
Yeah.
about it.
yeah,
But,
we're,
so what you're saying about having like a, and pointing to this, like,
Yeah.
you look at page 5 and chapter 5,
Yeah.
see soil samples.
Yeah.
Okay, well I feel better about that then.
So you want to?
I thought we were just throwing this away.
yeah, no, we're not throwing it away, but the other thing is too, we wanna make sure that it's up to date. You know, because if it's not up to date, then it needs to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not any good, you know, if the information's not any good back there, then it needs to be here.
I think, in my opinion,
See what I got down.
the information in this was very good.
And this?
No, in this, it just was a lot.
The only problem is, are we gonna have be able to access updated soil reports? I mean, it's 10-year-old soil reports still usable.
I think
Yeah.
they're only
Why is
usable-
it updated?
I think they're only usable up to 5.
So we need to
Really?
I
update
believe
that,
so.
Oh, well.
because you could have had some kind of a, you know,
Absolutely.
Do we update the soil reports?
Yeah.
Is that what we would deal with?
Okay, the soil
Exactly.
reports and put it in the chapter 5.
you know.
I mean, soil reports, it's not that expensive to send a soil report. Maybe do a whole report,
Right.
so it's not that big of a deal.
I would say put updated soil reports in chapter 5. And then I would also like to see the list of the lakes
The
and
lakes.
the rivers and stuff, being that is kind of our thing up here.
Yeah,
It is.
Okay,
It
but-
is. I agree.
yeah,
I thought it was weird, them explaining, like, by the old sawmill.
Right?
There was a sawmill.
There was, I thought it was right here.
Yeah,
Right over
right
here.
there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was being facetious.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
It burned in the early 80s, didn't it? Wasn't that when the big, because it was right, we were here not that long, it seems like.
Mhm.
You know, the little grocery store that wasn't open on the corner was the first fire, and then the sawmill. So, it's kind of taking the neighborhood. But,
One thing I thought was interesting in commercial, they say worst activity, and then there's some in the southern part of Dublin. But in Dublin, this whole map shows nothing but residential, because that's a subdivision. Because Dublin store technically is not on commercial property.
right, didn't
That's
they
all.
have to get a special permit?
Yeah, we had to deal with that.
Which is weird, because Dublin was longer than zoning has been.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They intentionally made it.
Just wondering
Right.
if it was because Eileen South was there.
It
I
could
don't know.
be.
I don't know. That's the only thing
That's still the property.
yeah. I know.
Yeah, and I mean, it, to me, that should have been residential, and we were replacing, or not residential, commercial,
Mhm.
and it shouldn't have been a special use permit. I was shocked when I heard that it was a special use, because to me, it made sense that it was already commercial, it had
Mhm.
already been passed as commercial,
Mhm.
and that we would have, if Dublin wasn't gonna rebuild the store, then it would come back to the planning and, you know,
Right.
and kind of looking at,
Mhm.
okay, are we gonna make this residential or, you know, because it's not residential.
There's no reason it should be.
I don't think so
No.
either.
The only orange I see is this little stretch that ends at my old property right here, and then along 55 right here.
Mhm.
I don't see anything in Dublin. It says outside of Dublin, so maybe this the coloring's off and I can't see it. But.
Yeah,
That could be too.
And there's a little pinky area right here on these two dirt roads that no one levies industrial property on.
and the reality is that it's what business is there along that stretch?
Which stretch?
Oh, stretch out here, this is on the highway, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's not any.
Right here?
There shouldn't be, yeah,
Yeah, it's got on both sides. and
well,
it's
yeah,
Commercial slash residential, or it must be, right?
Yeah.
There's houses on it, so.
yeah, but I mean, if somebody bought Mary Lou's house and decided to put a business there, they could do that,
Mhm.
For the special use permit.
No, it's,
No.
this is zone commercial.
cause it's zone commercial.
Down to Pine Lake Road to the to 55, on both sides is commercial.
Like,
Commercial
where
residential.
Vagabond is, across the street, right?
Okay, so if you
That's
gotta get a
commercial.
special use permit, if you're a business and residential, do you have to get a special use permit if you're residential and a commercial?
Always seems to never come up. I never had to deal with that.
I mean, it would make sense, right?
But I do think we need to look at the zoning map in the future and make some
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
make some changes on that,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah,
it just needs to line up with what we have. Doesn't even need to make some massive
Right.
changes. It just needs to line up with
Mm-hmm.
what we currently have and have had for 30 years.
Right.
and where it would make sense for future expansion.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
So you would do your expansion where you want it to be, rather than you put it in the middle of a residential and have everybody kinda going, excuse me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody catch any grammar errors or anything that we had last month? I didn't, but.
I didn't either, but Doug's usually the one that catches all that stuff.
Well, one
Look, he
thing-
said, well.
Yeah.
Well, first off, he's got above all over this. There's no above.
There's no,
It
There's
should
no
be as seen on page 5
yeah.
or whatever. So I marked it down. Many. And granted, this is the one page that didn't have one at the bottom, right? Like other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be your photo page. I can read those tomorrow.
We need more paper in here.
Probably. Under residential, the extrative. Shouldn't that be
That
bolded
should be
as well?
Yeah.
That's a minor thing, honestly. But another thing is that map above. If you look at the whole
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
map above is
Map
all,
above.
it's all
It's all
over
over
it.
We should be referring back to the page, yeah.
Mhm. Well, and if there are gonna be maps above, we need to see those
Yeah,
maps.
exactly.
The map's right here, and I also think formatting wise, this map should be on top or on bottom of this page.
Mhm.
Because
Instead of in the
you're-
center of it.
You're reading
Center.
this and you think to go right here, and
Mhm.
go down here, and it just kind of like breaks things up.
And we need,
Content.
sorry, we need more detail on this map. I mean, it was like, okay, I'm having trouble understanding that, somebody that's coming to the area.
The only way I could decipher it is because I know where the river is.
Yeah,
Well,
More detailed map.
there's, yeah, I go to the website. But anyways, on the website is a legend too. There should be there's a space right here, put the legend saying yellow is subdivision,
Mhm. Absolutely.
white is
Yeah.
agriculture. I don't know why this can't be a whole page.
Make the map up page.
Mhm.
yeah,
Even if you got turned sideways.
yeah,
I mean, make it
Yeah.
look
because
good.
it's important.
Yeah, because in here we got fold out maps.
take the county maps and use it, on our map, Hoxseyville Road will be spelled correctly. Because my understanding is that until they update the maps, they're gonna continue to have that typo error in there.
Which one? I know that, so what is the correct spelling?
The correct spelling is with an E.
Okay.
The
I
M-
grew up on Hicksville Road, so I've had an argument about this both ways, so.
Yeah, and you had an E, right, when you
Yeah,
grew up? Yes. Well, what happened, I think when they did the maps, because of the small print, somebody didn't see the E.
Mhm.
So it got typed up wrong. And then all of a sudden, they're starting to, like a sign was put up without an E. And then on the county, we had a new address come to us, because we do addresses. And it came and there was no E, and I told the person who does that it was incorrectly spelled and that needed to be
Right.
changed. Well, she came back then and said, no, that's the way it is. And the road commission had said it, you know, that way too. And she said, if you have a problem with it, go to the road commission. So I did. and several emails later, but it was like, come on, look back. And then they wrote, I think they sent, everybody on the road got a letter telling them that their address had been updated
No.
with an E.
Yeah.
Which was really funny because the only person that needed to be updated was the brand new address,
Oh
Right.
my goodness.
you know, that was incorrect. So, but yeah, it's,
So,
yeah, because we're named after Hoxseyville that's down the road.
Mhm.
But would this be where water is, because we're putting in lakes and stuff, is this where we address? Because that's a big thing, ground and surface water protection.
the threats to surface water resources,
Mm-hmm.
that section right there,
And that's in this,
I think is, it seems like there's a lot of information that didn't get transferred.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if this is a Cliff Notes version of that, it's still,
Yeah.
this is a key, storyline.
but I would like to make sure that the water is on there too. That we get, that is still in the reduced version because it's so important.
Right.
And it's gonna continue to be important and,
So add threats to surface water resources
Mhm.
into this.
because Manistee County was actually a statewide model for ground and surface water protection. In 1995, so, which is what all of our, you know, plans were developed after. And because we're a well area, which there is gonna be, I mean, there's some things coming down the pipe, that septics will be checked more than just at date of sale. And so, because they're finding that it's not good to have these, regulated septics.
What's that county thing you're gonna start doing?
It's gonna be state. State's gonna, cause the counties are not doing it, they're not setting up a good plan of how they're taking care of that. And it's very costly, you know, like Bear Lake and Onekama, we're trying to put together, a sharing because of the lakes and the septics that are on the lakes and they're getting into the lakes and they were trying to put together, but it's so costly then to move them into a septic system, a shared, that people had a problem with that, and so they walked away. But then the state is gonna be coming in and saying, and so it's kind of that weighing out. We don't want the state to tell us what to do, but on the other hand, if we're not good stewards of it, you know, and so to me, that's just knowing that that's out there, to me, it's important that we are looking at it, and we're paying attention to it. And we are a septic township, and we're not looking at a sewer system,
No.
are we?
No.
No.
Where are they finding money for that?
Yeah.
You can't afford fireworks.
Yeah. Something I thought was weird, maybe I was probably looking at it earlier. It feels weird to me that, you know, with the land fractionalization.
Fractionalization.
Yeah.
Anyways, it seems weird that they're like saying problems and solutions. They're writing the solution and the problem and the solution in the master plan. Is that unusual to have in this? But the last paragraph right here, the primary buyer of timber is Manistee Region PCA, which uses wood chipping operations, a minimum of 40 acres, blah blah blah. That is a possible solution to farm fractionalization to require large minimum sizes in 40 acres in rural zoning district. However, this approach is often politically unpopular and typically a challenge. So there's a legal footnote here. Maybe they have to have it in there. It seems weird that they're like throwing that in. Maybe I'm wrong. I saw there was some, even in this right here, there was some subtle things like that too, but for all the things they transfer from this to this, it's really the transfer from that.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, that is something I will talk to Ben about, see why that's like that, cause you're, that does.
It is weird.
That doesn't work.
Mhm.
That's something you would say if you're having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like someone was just talking about it and they said this whole thing.
It was confusing. But it was from Northern Township. So, there would be, and we're not getting it, because board members out here, I think I just get it from the county board. But unless you are getting what's going on in the state and like the cases and stuff, are you getting
No.
that in your email? That to me should be a part of it, because then you're getting those legal cases, you're
Right.
getting that additional information,
Mhm.
and that's just as good as an in-service,
Right.
you know? They used to do it in a nice printable, and it was really, and now it's an email, kind of thing, and it's, you have to do a little, to me it feels like it's doing a little more searching, but, yeah, I think that asking if we could have that, you know, I mean, I can, but I've sent things, and then you don't always get them,
Right.
so.
Do you wanna ask for the list of all the legal stuff going on with zoning in the
Mhm.
state, just
Yep.
for reference?
Yep, that we're getting that state newsletter as a planning,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I haven't gotten it.
Just make sure.
Yeah.
Just make sure we're getting the newsletter, cause well, this time I'm not.
Yeah.
Before I was. This time I'm not.
cause
I don't
that,
know if I tried maybe when I left the planning commission last time. I don't remember. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know
So
if
you
I
gotta
told
ask.
not to.
You
I
gotta
don't,
ask.
I don't remember. I don't remember how that went. I think I started getting them when I did my citizen planner stuff. I signed up for some other stuff. And I
And
think
was
that's
getting
when
it
I was
then.
getting them. Like, it was so long ago, I don't remember.
yeah, it's the Michigan Planner Edition for the September 2024,
Commission planner,
yep.
commission. But they had something we got
Edition.
ourselves.
And I don't, but it gives all the books, all the webinars, all the publications, you know, the various information and what workshops are out there, cause there's some, you know, so as we're talking about training, being able to kind of see, hey, there's a virtual one that would be really helpful, and maybe we could do that as, you know. So.
It's something we need Ben to sign us up for, it's private, or something that we could do ourselves?
I don't know.
I don't
I know I didn't sign up for it.
So
But it was
I
just
think when I did
coming.
my citizen planner stuff,
But it came.
that it came to me when I signed up for that stuff. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident.
There's just,
Back to the trust of waterways, it's like this, it's like 2 pages, no, it's 4 pages. There goes soils, which is occupied for that, and they don't even mention any of that here.
yeah.
I think they said that water preservation is very important, more information put in front of us,
Mm-hmm.
at the very least.
Yes. At the minimum that we're,
We've been on bird types.
You don't, you
Yeah.
don't wanna look for about every single bird type we have here.
I mean, should we be
No.
referring to some extent? I don't know.
I don't think so. Just like in the beginning, in the first chapter where it tells you what kind of Native Americans were here to begin with. We
But
live in Michigan, we know the Native Americans were here.
So obviously, we're not gonna vote on anything and pass anything and blah, 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 approve it tonight.
right.
I will get with,
Well, and we
You wanna go
do,
drive a school bus?
no. I will get with Ben, we'll have the minutes, we'll have all that stuff in the minutes and the notes, I'll get with Ben, I'll show him everything that we're talking about, and I'll have him, I'll make sure we get it for our next meeting in October. Cause for the rest of the year, we need to have public meetings.
yeah, that we would just work on it now, yep.
Every month.
Yep, and we need Mary Riley, and she's gonna be busy with doing the citizens planner, you know, all of October. But I know Kurt is doing at least one of those, so that might make her more available, but we've gotta get our public meeting done.
Yeah,
Because,
this is our second public meeting of the year.
no, our public meeting where you invite people to come in
Oh,
to give
yeah,
you
yeah,
input.
yeah.
You know, that we need to get that done, because we need to find out what people are thinking,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they need to know what we're thinking.
When should we try and aim for that?
I would love to see it in October, because otherwise we're starting to move into or early November, because we're moving into the holiday season, and,
Cause I do remember when she came in and she gave us, it was about an hour and a half long, she talked to us, some really good information in there. And that actually helped a bunch.
yeah, and she did at the beginning of this group's, you know, giving us that, and then, but she was gonna come back, cause they contracted with her for the public meeting.
Okay, so we just gotta figure out when we're
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
If we do it in October, it's only a month. Does that give us enough time?
So,
For the public meeting, we're getting public comment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do we need time for?
Make sure people know about it, make sure she can be here,
Gotcha,
make sure it works with our schedule.
well, if we can get section 5 done and section 6 done at the next meeting, section 7 is where it gets more interesting with actual like local plan regulations. So maybe you can get all this like, this is all the fluff stuff, and the meat and potatoes really starts here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it'd be good to have a meeting before we get into this section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we don't wanna have it done and have people say, oh, well, you did the master plan, what do you need us for?
Right.
You know, we need to get them in, so they're giving us that,
So,
so.
we need to see what works for her schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Who handles that? Is that a Bob and Ben thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I did note that to Bob,
Okay.
that, you know,
Can you make a note Doug, about Mary Riley's availability in October and November?
Yep, I said, see, look at her for a schedule, with Bob or Ben.
So then when we're done here, we're just gonna tentatively set our next meeting, or we're just gonna table it until,
No, our next meeting is
October
October,
24th at 6.
yeah,
Okay.
because the public meeting would be a separate.
oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
And really for the county, they did 3 public meetings
Mhm.
and gathered. And, I can certainly bring the sheets that were gathered from that, so that the group can look at. None of them were done actually in our area. It was supposed to be, and then of course, Calva made a better offer. So, you know, they gathered information that would be helpful for us to see. So I can bring that in, but, and I did mention to Bob, because we have Trenton now fully operational, that's all going. That needs to be a part of the picture taking, the really in on land, you know, that's important that that's in. And then as we're starting to look at it, we have a new business with Wellston, and you can't call it a coastal, what is it, coastal, the events. The coastal's events, it's not the school anymore, it's the event
Oh,
center.
In the woods?
The woods.
Yeah, in the
Woods.
woods.
About
Yeah, in that too, because, my understanding is that the rentals for weddings is already in operation and the room is beautiful.
The room is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to be making sure that those are getting,
And from what I understand, their overnight accommodations are really nice too.
so,
So as far as, is that what we do as far as more info in the woods event center, just like?
it would be
Just like-
staff going and taking pictures and
'Cause
getting the
Remember
information.
when Bob came around and started taking pictures of all
Yeah.
the businesses?
Yeah.
Oh,
We need to make sure he's getting that one too.
Yeah, because we don't want just our old businesses, we want our new businesses.
Because he does, if I understand correctly, he's gonna have a little thing in there about the prominent businesses in the area.
Yeah,
He's got pictures of everything.
okay. Where's that gonna be posted, on the website or
it'll be
It'll be a section
included
in
in here,
also be
yeah,
a section on?
yeah.
just local businesses and attractions and stuff.
Probably gonna be something on the snowmobile and dirt birds, right?
Oh my goodness. That's a baby all in itself right there, let
Yeah.
me tell you.
So,
So I will get with Ben on
All of this?
that. This is actually the first chapter where we're actually like, hey, we caught more than just grammar stuff, so.
yeah,
Well, up till now, everything looks good until,
and I'm pretty sure that this would not pass, because once the plan is put in print and ready to go, it then moves to the county.
Right,
And I don't think this chapter, they would probably have notes for us, saying, what about this, what about this? And having those footnotes of what you're leaving out, so that you've got a
Refer
map
back
to it,
to-
yeah. I was just,
Even like right here, it's got, we have a bunch of footnotes here for different.
yeah, yeah,
There's only one thing in here, and it's a court case.
right.
Feels out of place, so I don't know.
yeah.
so, I'll get with Bob, I've been on that stuff Friday.
Is it still called Chittenden Center? Like technically it is still
Is it?
called that?
Still
Or if they
Chittenden.
changed it or something?
And of course, they redid the Audubon, the trail.
That looks really nice. I
Yeah.
walked it. I used to walk up. I used to walk all the time. When I lived over there.
Yeah.
I stopped walking it with Girl Scouts when they had a mama bear and some cubs that were hanging out in that area. I just decided I didn't want 6 little girls with me
Right.
and having them see a cute little cub and wanna hold it.
Wanna cuddle it?
Yeah, I just was like, you know, there's too much nature for me. I'm not a good troop leader for
For the nature part?
Yeah.
Can we tentatively think about having our public meeting beginning-ish of November. I think that would work.
I think like the 16th be done.
The first part before.
Before deer season.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the day after rifle season?
He was
Yeah,
being.
So I mean, if something in there works for her, because we can
Yeah.
have it whenever, it doesn't have to be on the Tuesday of,
No,
It's-
no,
it's
that
its
would
own
be a
separate
separate
thing.
meeting,
so
yeah,
we can do that whenever works for her, really.
yeah. And like I said, the planning members, it's always helpful to have them there, but pretty much, how Network North did it is, the person, Zach, kind of was the overseer of it.
Mhm.
And you could come as a planning member and put your input in, but you weren't, because you don't wanna be. "Oh, no."
Influential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you don't want that.
I'd like to be there just to hear what the general public thinks and wants.
Yeah.
Well, I doubt the first week of November is gonna work. That's gonna be election week.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then
Not
what's
till
in
after.
season.
Yeah, so it would have to be the second week of November.
The second week of November is something.
Oh, it's already started.
15th is Tuesday or there or Thursday.
This can
Oh,
be
so this is
whatever.
a different day, yeah.
Oh,
This is a standalone separate.
Yeah.
well, you could do like Monday or Tuesday that week.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we can,
I don't mind,
if we
so.
can talk to her and see if one of those dates works,
Yeah,
like the 11th or the 12th, we'll hold the board meeting.
yeah, we couldn't do it on
Could do it on the 12th.
the 12th.
So November 11th or what, the week of the 25th? So that's how I
That's
think
holiday,
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, that's not gonna,
So, well, we got there on one day.
well, or the 7th or 8th after the election.
Yeah, we could do it,
Mhm.
yeah,
Um,
7th, 8th, or the 11th would be what I would think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And generally, you know, I think that we make sure it's on the signage, we make sure it's on the Wellston page, we, we don't have the bulletin anymore to let people know, put it in the newspaper, but, you usually don't get a lot of people, but you wanna make sure.
You're giving
And-
them the opportunity to.
Yeah, and I know with, one in Lake City, they thought they'd get 10 or 12 and they ended up with like 50.
Nice.
So, he said it was good they'd done cookies, so lots of cookies. But, yeah, so, we don't know.
And that meeting's just basically to get feedback from the public, let them, so
Mhm.
we can hear what they're saying, so we can kind of give them our idea of what we're looking
Yeah.
at. I think the last time we did, we had 2 people.
And Mary will
But you still
have
need to.
a set of questions that she kind of are little workstations. So. And she may want us more involved. I mean, it's just the difference. I mean, how Zach did it versus, and it
I'm
was a
very
combination.
interested in hearing from like the teenagers of the era because they're the ones that are either gonna make it or break it in the future around here. Like I wanna know what's gonna keep them here, what's gonna make them leave, what's gonna bring them back after college.
Just making sure then that they, kind of are aware of it too, so we
Oh,
can
I
make sure
will.
it could be posted at the school and so forth, and then they'll bring parents, hopefully.
The meeting in October, like I said, I'll have Ben get with this stuff and get this stuff fixed up. I'm hoping we can have chapter 6. We should have stuff over the Verizon tower in October. And that's what I was hoping for. I don't know if you guys know about that. Verizon still wants to put a tower in Boston,
Okay.
on the corner of 6 and Bunch. So it's that little field right there on the south side, east side of it. And then they're gonna pay so much per month, blah, 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 and give us some 500 meg service for the emergency stuff. And there's some stuff, so I'm hoping we can have that, we can look at that stuff in October too. I'm hoping to have it before the meeting so we can all look at it, and we can all get it before and we can vote on it in October.
Mhm.
That would be ideal.
What would be a reason not to?
I personally can't think of any.
So if,
Um,
I'm assuming, well, since we're out of commercial property, we have commercial property here.
Mhm.
We'd have to go on residential property somewhere, or at least ag pieces.
well, it's
Do
township
we have to-
property.
Township.
Oh, okay.
It's township property, that's why
So-
they put it there.
So it doesn't matter what they do what they want with that.
And how does that impact, I know that for the schools or churches, they can't do tower without messing up their funding, because then they become like become a commercial business anyway, because you're only allowed so much, funding, and you don't wanna be taken out of your status of the protection of like a church or a school. What about the township? Do they have a different way of doing that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
So that's gonna depend on lawyers and contracts and all that stuff, so if we can get it cool, it's just saying, let's be ready for it. If we don't, we don't,
yeah,
you know, whoever in November can take care of it. Won't be here, you won't be here, well, I will be here.
you'll just be here in a
I'll
different
be
capacity.
Hey, you need voting, yeah.
Right, that's true.
Seriously.
Well. So that
You
I'm
doesn't-
not-
vote- You've all been opposed, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that's not.
So, it's just
But I'm still not counting my chickens until they
No.
hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh?
well, and what would be nice is if we could have this kind of tidied up and done so that, the two new people, well, yeah, cause we'll be getting,
Jason will be, and Star will be leaving, I'll be taking Jason's spot, but
Yeah, so two
Yeah.
new people.
we'll still have two.
and so there would still be two that they're, we don't want them walking in,
To something that's halfway done or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is Andy still interested or not?
Yeah, I texted Andy today. He was gonna come today and just kinda see what it was like, but,
I know two people that are interested as well, so.
okay.
so hopefully we will have, and,
Maybe we'll have a couple people run
yeah,
from.
and hopefully those will be,
Okay.
well, it'll be really, you couldn't appoint them until,
After.
after the,
20th.
the November,
Mhm.
or they could do it at the November, cause the election, November 5th or
Mhm.
4th. So, and then the township meeting would be the following week, so they could do the appointments then.
On the 11th.
Yeah.
And then we could do all our stuff on 20, whatever, 20, I don't even know what day that is.
2 days before Thanksgiving.
What is the process to see if someone wants to be on the, what's the process look like there?
26, for what?
Like if Andy, if you just put it around.
Have him come back to us, get hold of Mobley. Mobley, he wants to talk to everybody and kind of let them know, so, makes sense, when I did.
And then you submit a report.
Anything else anybody wanna deal with in October? That we should deal with?
I can't think of anything, nothing to add. Of course, my brain is mush now after dealing with children, so. I don't know what happened over the summer, but my boss here and they all seem to lost all their home training that I've given them so far. I've never done so many write-ups in the first 4 weeks of school in my life.
But, basically we do, this has been sort of our focus, and we haven't, I'm really hoping for October that we get a report from our planner.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, because I feel like we're lacking in that. So,
That sounds
and I
like the
know,
perfect angle for me right now.
Ain't it though? So
yeah,
I'm kinda glad. I'm
But
sure.
no, it would be nice if Bob would be here and kinda,
yeah, so that we're getting the rest of the update, cause I know there's other business that we could be doing, but we don't have that information in
Right,
front of us.
So do what we can to make sure Bob's here for next meeting.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they, in YouTube, they put that out, how they do, like if he can't, then would that be a then position, but that we have someone. I mean, it's weird to do a board without having a staff person in the room.
Because
Yeah.
before, Bob was, every single month Bob was there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember us saying we could only do Tuesdays and Thursdays, because that's the only time Bob could do it.
yeah,
So, yeah, I'll address that with him.
okay.
Are we all good for October and chapter 5?
We're gonna, so just ready for,
There's no motions needed on that one,
So,
I don't think.
as I'm writing this whole thing up,
Mhm.
so essentially, we'd like it roughly, but we'd like more detail
We would
from
like to
this to be transferred into this.
some new soil reports.
More detail with water and soil, yeah.
And then some footnotes to refer back to this
Mhm.
with pages that
Yeah.
refer.
Yeah.
And that map to be full page.
yeah,
I got that. And then I also got the maps are on the bottom or the top of the page.
Mhm.
So we're not breaking
Yeah,
this
that's
up.
weird.
It looks goofy.
And a legend.
Not a legend. Beans. I got all that here.
So we're good, we've set them for the next meeting. I'm trying to see if we need any more motions on anything before we go to public comment. I don't think so. Think we got it all?
not at all.
Joanne, do you have any public comment?
Yeah, I don't know, because I really haven't delved into it too much. I mean, I read it once and that was enough, because it was lengthy. We just did, a designated trail for ORV. Are we addressing any ORV in that master plan?
Not yet. We're getting up
Is it
to-
addressed?
It will be,
It will be.
Okay.
We're only on chapter 5 right now.
Yeah, I don't know where it falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be, I don't know where Ben's gonna put it, but it'll be with zoning regulations and the land use maps and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I would think.
And then when you're talking about the water, you're doing a water quality? What
No,
are you
so
talking about with the water? Just to
in
name
the old master plan, in this current master plan we have, there was a lot of a very good section on how water protection basically,
And it named all of our waterways.
and then how all of our regulations to protect and keep our groundwater and our water safe and clean. None of that stuff is in what we're presented with, so we're talking about moving that into the new stuff because that's something we want to have put in there.
Does any of it address the invasive species taking over in some of these? Like, what is that little one
think
over
it
here?
did
It's,
in the
you
old
can't
one.
even use it. It's just, I mean, it's milfoiled, right?
Well,
It's
and
milfoil
that's-
lake.
yeah,
But,
and that's
you know.
why,
Right.
not leaving that out, because like, and, as I said earlier, I know that there's some things that are being looked at with that, because the whole water issue for Michigan is such
Mm-hmm.
an issue.
Right.
And so we need to have it in so that we're saying, yeah, we acknowledge and we want to be a part of that, as opposed to, hey, we'll just leave it out and let the state tell us.
Yeah, just think to
Yeah.
identify lakes, and not indicate whether they're public, private, usable, invaded. I don't know if that really serves the public or anybody reading it.
Yeah.
Doesn't bring it really any value.
Yeah, and because the master plan is what you build your zoning off of, if you don't have it in the master plan, you can't really build a rule off of it because
Right.
you haven't addressed it. So
Right.
we don't want to miss it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we're a septic community, and that's not going to change.
Right. I mean, just
And-
maybe an aggressive monitoring of some of these until so they don't turn into that.
yeah.
Right.
There really isn't any effort to aggressively monitor any of the lakes,
Well-
according to the state. I've talked to EGO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like with some of the, like for the trees and stuff, one of the things, and we haven't had it since, kind of the person who was the ranger, and now he's retired, but every county meeting, we got an update from the Forest Service.
Mhm.
And we knew where they were doing such and such. I think there's a burn that's gonna be out in this area, that may be coming up, though, because it's been so dry, that may be changed. But we're really missing that, and I would love to see that one of the members was maybe part of the forestry, or that the forestry was coming here. And our, bylaws do say that, you know, of having that as a resource, because, especially because we wanna sell ourselves as a tourist destination, we wanna be,
Right.
Can we
yeah.
invite a forest person to the public meeting?
And then,
Yes.
To be
Mary,
an official
Mary, you
person?
belong,
Mhm.
you belong to the MTA, that Township Insights, you get that, right? And,
Mm-mm.
oh, you don't? Can't you
No.
guys sign up for that, I would imagine, because we're members of the Michigan Township Association, so they send out a newsletter. I would check to see if you can, because a lot of the state updates that you're talking about often are in there. You know, so, yeah, it'd be worth seeing if you can. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, but they may, you know, have some restriction.
Yeah, well, we should be getting a planner one, and I get it on the county, but we just confirmed that it's not happening for the other members. So, yeah. And they wouldn't be a part of our, what your question was in terms of like the forestry person. If they were on the board, then that would be different, but they wouldn't be, they would be an additional resource. And they would come to the meetings, they would give us a report. And what they would actually, what you get from them is you see every project that they're doing in the counties that, they cover.
Okay.
So you know when there's a burn going on, you know if they're treating trees, you know if, and what is it, the oak, they don't treat that. So don't even go there. It's circular, it comes in cycles, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be. But yeah, it was always really helpful,
It would be
You
very
know?
helpful.
and it made me feel smart because I'd go by and be able to say, oh, this is what they're doing.
Right. Anything else, Joanne?
Yeah. Anything?
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You guys, we all set? Anybody else got anything? Anything? Everybody good? You look like you're looking for something. So. You look like you're looking for something.
This is chapter 5, and chapter 4.
He's not following the same for that.
Great.
Well, that might have a big reason why this is different than that then.
Still worth asking to see if he's gonna
It's
put it
land.
someplace else.
Yeah, so if he says but it's land use, so
Well,
soil
chapter 5
is,
is natural resources. Chapter 4 here is
oh, so maybe he
land
is,
use and land cover.
okay,
That's
Now
why-
I feel like
Well, no, not
No.
necessarily, because
you change chapter, you add a chapter in there.
yeah,
Well, I changed some things, but
well, but I
not
think it's
necessarily,
good,
because
no,
it's good for us to know if it's coming
Yep.
in someplace else.
yeah. And that would be where being able to I think it's great
Absolutely.
questions, yeah, that, hey, because that is part of land.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the things that we mentioned here might be covered in chapter 6, which is actually going to be natural resources, assuming you're going to the same. one.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's still worth finding out and
Yeah.
knowing so that we know in the future.
yeah.
Hey, we don't have to worry about that part, remember?
It'll make it for a lot faster to read.
Alright,
Anyone wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Adjourn. Second.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye. Yep. I've got a really nice,
Workout tonight, get rest.
yeah.
That.
That's the